He's going to take a deep shot, and he's got Rashid Shaheed. Taysom Hill to the rookie. Touchdown, Saints. Become the big play threat.
And he really has. And watch him at the top of this route. Fake to the outside, right? He's going to fake the corner, just get the DB turned around. That's Grant. And then he's just got so much speed. I mean, it's just, it is so easy. And the thing that's really great about this kid is he's got that speed, but they have increased his route.
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, as always, joined by the Bud Man, Buddy Songy, here from Old School Barbecue. We tape Tuesday, December 20th. Let us be the first to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. We certainly appreciate you tuning in to Tigers Roar. We understand it's all about the Tigers, Bud Man. You did see the opening clip. It was Taysom Hill to Shaheed for that touchdown. The Saints picked up a win against the Falcons, even when the Falcons are struggling. I mean, the Saints are struggling, but man, when you sweep the Falcons, it's a good year in NFC South. And a lot of LSU going on, obviously. Citrus Bowl right around the corner. Tomorrow, the 21st, is National Signing Day, so a lot going on. A lot of balls that Brian Kelly is juggling in the air right now, but he's embracing the challenge, Bud, man. Looking forward to the Citrus Bowl. Looking forward to that transfer portal and for signing day tomorrow.
I hope everybody doing well on this Tuesday afternoon, as you alluded to, signing day. And it is always interesting because LSU has unfortunately lost a lot of kids on signing day. Desmond Ricks will get Mike Scarborough at the end of the show today. Is he going to be a Tiger? We know that they're going to bring in 25 or 27 or whatever, and transfer portal players. You saw the Saints highlight. Great to see them start off 14-0. I had a friend of mine who actually went to that game, JP right there.
That's right.
And you enjoyed that, although they did not finish it the way we wanted to, but they did get the W. And as you alluded to, they did sweep the Falcons. But I got to tell you, JP told me something before the season. He said, you know, Bud Man, I don't know if Dennis Allen is head coaching material, and I am now here to say I think you were probably right. Him and Pete Carmichael have left a lot to be desired. And then you throw in the guys that have just quit on the franchise, like Mike Thomas and others. And so, and then you throw in Mickey Loomis. He'll spend anybody's money as long as it's not his own, $65 million or thereabouts in dead money. So we'll talk about more positive stuff with LSU. But the Saints right now are leaving a lot to be desired. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and, of course, LSU playing in a bowl game in less than 2 weeks.
That's right, 12 days away. As I mentioned, we tape here on December 20th. LSU will take on Purdue, who's got a crazy situation happen up there with a new head coach that was named. But for the bowl, there will be an interim head coach, and there'll be an interim assistant coach, too, that was announced on Twitter, got some fanfare, kind of went viral. A lot of LSU fans are also Saints fans, so it's a name that most Louisiana football fans will be familiar with, and Drew Brees. There was a big kerfuffle on Twitter about this guy must have forgot where he made all his money, and he owed, the Saints and LSU fans a little more loyalty than that. I don't buy into all of that, but man, obviously Drew Brees went to Purdue, was a very successful football player for Purdue. They bring him in to talk to the team often. He went viral about a year ago with a great pregame speech to the team. You always kind of figured Drew was going to stay close to the game. He was doing the NBC thing, kind of cancels out on that, but this might be his open door into the coaching world. It does have that interim tag on him, Bud, man. But how much impact could a Drew Brees have on that Purdue room dealing with an opt-out from the quarterback, the running back, a receiver, and a new coach?
Look, it's all motivational. It's all emotional. Listen, I have compared favorably with where Purdue is right now to where LSU was last year. They lost their coach. They had an interim coach. They had all these opt-outs. And, oh, by the way, how cool is this? Although a year too late, but the NCAA, who we normally talk about, no clue at all, actually gave a little bit of common sense. And you can now play in the bowl game and not cost you a year of eligibility. So Quincy Wiggins and Fitzgerald West and some of the other guys that have played 4 games for LSU might be in this bowl game. But back to Purdue. This is a team that just doesn't want to get embarrassed, and I don't think Drew Brees, yes, he's going to have them fired up, and he's as good as it gets, screaming to his guys on the field or to the locker room with the a great time to be a Boilermaker. This is the greatest time to ever be a Boilermaker. Hell, the Boilermakers I'm most familiar with are the drinks that a lot of people have around Christmas. So, Drew, I don't think you make him enough money. He may end up being a coach, but right now, when you get a little taste of that kind of money, and we'll see what happens. Although he was kind of boring as an analyst, so we'll see. But he does. Anybody that is kicking him below the belt for taking this little interim gig, come on, get a grip. It's his alma mater, JP.
Yeah. We did have a press conference from head coach Brian Kelly over this past weekend. We'll let you guys hear some of that on this episode of Tigers Roar. Got to take our first break of this program, but first remind you guys, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It's a great way to keep up with everything we do here at Pelican. Tigers Roar, the Clarence Buggs Show, Overtime with Athletic Director from Southern University, Roman Banks. It's all there on our YouTube page. Go check it out, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Our first break of the afternoon. Come back and join us. We'll talk some more LSU football here on Tigers Roar.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Hey now, give it your best, put the broken lies to rest. Hey. Look up to the skies, I see desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. Misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every one.
All right, everybody, on a Tuesday afternoon, once again, we reiterate to all of us over here at Old School Barbecue, Pelican Sports TV, radio, internet, the whole 9 yards. We hope that you and your family have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. We are audibilizing everybody on a tight schedule, so let's talk to the man who is in big demand. Big day tomorrow, Mike Scarborough with TigerBait.com. And Mike, I guess the biggest question that everybody has is how much better will Brian Kelly and his staff have a day tomorrow versus last year when he only had about 16 days. They were just trying to get bodies. Give us the difference between what a year makes and what you expect to go down tomorrow for LSU.
Well, I think it's strictly he just continues to amaze with the organization, him and his staff. When he says on Saturday that he likes it or loves everything that's going on and all the balls up in the air that he's got to juggle, it's because he's confident in his staff to get it done. And so, as a guy who covers it, for the last 48 hours, I keep feeling like I'm forgetting something or missing something. Well, part of the reason why is because you're not looking at the commitment list and saying, is that one going to sign? Is that one wavering? Is this one going to do this or that? I mean, it just really seems like, not to say that it's uneventful, but it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of shenanigans with the commitment list or guys that, there could be trouble with. Not to say that there can't be. There's been a lot of stuff with Dalen Austin, the cornerback from in California. A lot of people think he's going to flip to Oregon. USC's messing with him. But I think LSU feels like that's not necessarily the case. So we're going to see what happens. And then, of course, it doesn't end tomorrow. We're going to get Brian Kelly at 2 o'clock, but on Thursday at noon, Desmond Wicks is going to announce his decision, and we think that's LSU. So had a couple of defensive ends that were in for visits. I think the kid from Oregon's in LSU. You got Jalen Lee, formerly of Live Oak. You got Jack Miner's kid that we're going to see what happens after signing day. So I think the transfer portal is probably going to be where all the big news is going to be after the next few days and going into the new year.
Hey, we had this question on the show today, Mike. Is there a dead period, or is everybody free to talk all the way up until they start signing? What's the scoop on the period right now?
There is a dead period, but you can make phone calls to kids that you're applying for or that you expect to sign with.
Mike, talk about the transfer portal. A guy that's already made a splash, somebody you really liked coming out of high school, out of Edna Carr in New Orleans, Aaron Anderson, hit the portal from Alabama, commits to LSU. How big of a deal is that for the Tigers, not only for the wide receiver room, but in special teams?
Well, it's huge because when Brian Kelly says he wants to build his program with high school players, well, Aaron Anderson's essentially a high school player.
Right.
You're getting another 5-star wide receiver thrown into the mix, one who can return punts and kicks, and as salty as LSU's wide receiver room is, he might be your best receiver after the catch, and that's saying that with Neighbors and Boutte and all the rest. So I think you're going to have another offseason when you add him, Sampson, Kyle Parker, Ty Preen,
Jaylen Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. I mean, you'll be saying again in the offseason, who has a better wide receiver room than LSU in the country?
But look, Jaylen Brown is getting offers from everywhere. Obviously, Kyle Parker is getting the move on by A&M. Do you feel like now with Anderson coming in and the four aforementioned wide receivers that are verbally committed, do you feel like they're going to have everybody, or do you see maybe one or two of those guys not signing tomorrow?
We'll see. I don't know if there's going to be any issues there. Maybe there is, and I'm whistling past the graveyard. I don't think so. Or I don't know. I think have they been able to possibly say to those kids that maybe try to paint Anderson as a return guy?
All right, let's talk about where's the beef. JP, Mike and I have been doing this for a long time, and I don't remember how many years ago, but LSU had trouble enticing D linemen and D tackles. That is a need area. So first of all, have you heard any scoop or skinny or news on Jaquelin Roy? And secondly, what's it look like for D tackles moving forward, Mike?
Yeah, still Jaquelin Roy. And I think Jalen Lee, formative live oak. He's one to watch there. A guy that can be someone in the rotation that can give you some plays every game.
Mike, I know you asked this of Coach Brian Kelly over the weekend, but where do you expect the final number to be at after the transfer portal, the high school signees? I know Coach said somewhere around the mid to high 30s, but I know you've been following it really close. So what do you expect? 33, 35, 36 to be the final number about there?
Man, when he rolled out a 38, man, that was like everybody in the room like going wow, and everybody was typing on their laptops to get the tweet out. That's a big number.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll keep saying all year with 33, 34. Could they get to 35? He rolls out a 38. Would a 38 end up being 37 or does it end up being 39?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like
it's going to be something to see what they're able to track in the transfer portal, and because I think there's a lot of kids that see opportunity at LSU.
Mike, we know that there are a lot of different rankings, but from a composite standpoint, name us the top 4 or 5 rated recruits in this class, and is Desmond Ricks the leader there, or somebody rated higher than him?
Look, I think, you got Lance Hurd, Shelton Sampson's way up there on LSU's list. You got the kid from Baltimore that's super high. I mean, you got some guys on that list that have 5-star status. So, Troviano, of course, he's a 5-star according to Willa Network. Womack, everybody in the country would love to have him. Some people might say that he's the cream of the crop of the class. And then you start talking about Jalen Brown and Trey Holly and Caleb Jackson and all those guys right behind them, all national 100 kids.
Are there any needs that you don't think they're going to meet when the smoke clears with these recruits as well as the transfer portal?
I don't think so. I think they're going to have the tight ends that they want. Once it's all done, they'll get the defensive line help. Is there a running back that they get maybe in the spring at some point? I don't think they're going to have any problems.
JP, what do you think as far as the ranking goes when it's all said and done? I say top 5, but Mike, can it get up to number 3 or 4, or you think 5 is a good number to sit on?
I haven't really studied each one of the networks and what the points are out there. And then when you start adding in some of the guys that aren't committed yet. But if you end up with 27 or 28 high school kids, and then you add another 10 from the pool and an Aaron Anderson, does it really matter if you finish 5th or 6th when you've got another 10 or 11 from the portal, and some of them are the variety of an Aaron Anderson? I mean, that just catapults you even further up. So, and then how do you start rating those? Is there a system that you could come up with where maybe you give a kid that's got 2 or 3 years of eligibility left a little bit more of a better number than the kid who's only got 1 year of eligibility left?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Mike, Coach Brian Kelly has said often this season that this program is going to be built on the play of freshmen. And I'm just kind of getting, I wanted you guys' perspective. And when I was growing up, it was kind of always like, well, the most experienced team kind of made their way. And it was more like the Final Four in basketball, like senior-ridden teams always had more success. But then this new age of college football, you're leaving early for the pros, you're making. But with NIL, here's where I'm getting at. With the NIL keeping kids potentially in school for longer, does this program necessarily need to be built on freshmen? Can Coach Brian Kelly kind of keep some more kids in the building that, say, would have stayed 3 or 4 years ago with the NIL? I guess my question is, how important beyond this year and next year is that freshman class going to have to be for LSU? They had so many freshmen playing on the field this year. It doesn't seem sustainable to me.
Well, I think maybe do you kind of look at what Kirby Smart Georgia does? What do their numbers look like? How many of their starters from in the next couple of years are the guys that he signed versus how many from the portal. How many of his kids get in the portal, and how many do they take from the portal? Their numbers certainly look small right now, but does that change? If you listen to Brian Kelly, he probably wants to get it to that point. But because of what he inherited, he's still chasing, he's not to the point where he's got the calm yet. He's still got to, work through the number issues that he inherited.
Right.
And I think we've heard him say on numerous occasions that, look, his main base that he wants to take care of is the state of Louisiana. And he made a good point. Jarrett Bernard Converse and Mekhi Garner came in here and were one-year corners. Now, by the way, Jarrett Bernard Converse is going to play in the bowl game. So is Jay Ward. They'll be the starting cornerbacks. B.J. Ojulari is not going to play. So, Mike, I think what Coach Kelly was trying to sum up is that, look, you can't go through what they did last year every year. You have to have some sustainability like you talked about, JP. You got to take care of the state. But, man, it is a fluid situation, and I think you got to go. But his base, Mike, mostly recruits, mostly in-state, and the transfer portal, guys that LSU didn't get the first time, a perfect example, Aaron Anderson, Jalen Lee, and others. It makes for a pretty darn good recipe, Mike, for them to get to 85 by the start of 2023. Agreed?
Yeah. And I tend to think, look, you do want to have, you like the high school kids, but what's the difference if you can get a kid who's played 1 year of college football or maybe two, and you can get him for another 2, and you know right out the gate he's a player for you that can possibly come right in and start, versus taking a 3-star late that needs a year or 2 to develop.
And he's physically more mature.
You're not going to get dinged. You're not going to get dinged by APR anymore. So I don't know where the difference is.
Right. And that guy is physically more mature than the 18-year-old coming in. That's our last question, Mike. Who, as incoming recruits, do you think has a chance to play? And I got to tell you, JP, I'm hearing a lot of people say Lance Hurd is comparable to Will Campbell and Emory Jones. Is that a stretch, or do you believe that, Mike?
Well, look, how big would that be if he can come in and do like Campbell or Emory Jones and be a player right out the chute, and then that gives you the ability to move Emory Jones inside.
Mm-hmm.
But look, just because of the defensive back room and the shape that it's in, if you're just talking about who's going to play the most plays and who's likely to see the field quicker and make an impact, you got to think it's a corner or a safety or all the way around. But look, because of the need at running back, I think both running backs are going to be players. The tight ends, Mark Way tweeted out today his high school career is over, and he's on his way to Baton Rouge for spring football. You've got a dozen or more kids that are midterm grads that'll be participating in spring football.
Tell them what you got, Mike, and also a great Christmas present, JP, for any of you Tiger fans out there. Mike, give them the details.
That's it. Go to TigerBait.com. You can see it right on the front page. You can buy a digital gift card, give Tiger Bait as a subscription. And if you're not a subscriber, you can try us out for $1. And if you're an LSU fan, I think you'll enjoy the website. You'll get our text alerts for news, our newsletters, and all our premium updates.
Hey, man, get a good night's sleep. I know it's going to be a long day for you, but good stuff as always. We'll do LSU Tigers on Tiger Bait tomorrow, once again recapping the day. Good stuff, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, enjoy it. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Buddy. And JP, it is really exciting. I guess we've had a lot of people go back to the old days of the Bayou Recruiting Bash, and that brings in a lot of old times and a lot of fun. But social media has changed everything, and it's going to be interesting. Look, you hear these comments, well, you got an adult in charge now. You're not going to fool with all that BS.
Yeah.
But how many flips will you have? You really never know until you get to tomorrow.
Official.
And the other overlying and underlying factor is now with NIL. And here's the thing. So you can take a better NIL deal at a place, but guess what else is important? That NFL contract. And so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to hold on to everybody or if there'll be some flips one way or the other tomorrow.
All right, we'll take another quick break here on Tigers Roar. Talk some LSU football on the way back. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Okay, we got this.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Make the most of every moment together in a 3-row Mazda CX-9. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
Make no payments for 90 days on a new CX-9 during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Man, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun, too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. We'll remind you guys, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. While you're there, hit subscribe so you're notified every time we post something new at our YouTube page. Talking LSU football, Coach Brian Kelly had a press conference this Saturday. He had a scrimmage, about a 40-play scrimmage, he said. A lot of young guys got some playing time. One of the comments he made, but man, in the press conference, Walker Howard looked good in the red zone.
But he also made sure. Now, look, I don't want all of you to be asking when he's going to be the starting quarterback. Look, this is a juggle, folks. I was told a month ago Jaden Daniels is coming back. He hadn't made an official announcement. I don't think what he's done at the end of the year is going to help his draft status. I think he's coming back. Nuss got an extra NIL deal, and he obviously loves it over here. After that second half against Georgia, he's feeling good. And Walker Howard is kind of letting it be known that, I'm not going to be the scout team and not get good reps with the 1s and 2s next year. So a lot of juggling going on. But, JP, this is your son. He played and had a great year. Congratulations to Drew and what they did at De La Salle this year. Unfortunately, had a bad game at the end. But look, you have to stay on top of this stuff. And he would not also show his cards and lay his hand down.
Right.
You know, he leaked a little bit of information, but is Ali Gay going to play? Micah Baskerville going to play? Some of these guys need to play for their draft status, but Jared Bernard-Converse and Jay Ward are going to be starting corners. Didn't say who's going to be a defensive end, but you know they got to let Harold Perkins spin the ears back. And I think Savion Jones is probably the second best defensive end. But look, it's a rebuild. It's been a great year. And you and I are both smart enough to know one thing. You do not want to leave this fan base with 9 months of stewing after 3 consecutive losses.
Well, I want to let you guys hear from head coach Brian Kelly. He had a press conference this past Saturday. Here to go. Take it away. 18 the truck. If you could roll that press conference, we certainly appreciate it. Here is head coach Brian Kelly.
Kind of 2 questions related to cornerback. One sort of in the immediate now and then in the future over the offseason. One, just with the bowl game, if you guys transferring, Makai seems to be headed for the NFL as well. Who's available there to play in this game, and what is that kind of looking like? And then as you head into the offseason, kind of having to rebuild that room again, how are y'all going about doing that? Do you going to rely mainly on freshmen or try to bring in some transfers?
So we've got Jarek Bernard-Converse, so obviously he'll be available, and Jay Ward. So feel really good at the cornerback position, and those will be our starters. I think. We feel like the depth there is certainly young, but we'll be okay there. So we feel like our 2 starting corners are, going to match up, very well. I think the way we feels best is you don't want to every year jump into the transfer portal when it comes to the cornerback position. We did it this year because there was such a need to put together a representative group. So I think there's going to be a heavy influence on freshmen. And that's how we want this program to be built. Does that mean we won't look at a transfer? No, it doesn't mean we would close the door on that. But last year, as you know, they were 1 year, and done. We're not looking in that respect. Corners would have to have, if we were to move in that direction, they would have to have more than 1 season of competition if we did go that route. But by and large, philosophically, this is, try to build it with freshmen.
Hey, Coach. The NCAA said they were going to do the blanket waiver to where bowl games wouldn't count against a red shirt. Just your thoughts there, and does that help y'all this year?
It helps a lot. Obviously with the transfer portal and guys making decisions to not play in bowl games because they want to get into the transfer portal, it really hits your roster because, look, you've got guys that are deciding on whether they play in the bowl game, and pursue their options relative to the NFL. Then you've got the transfer portal. It's so difficult to get a mid-year into school, prepared to play. That's not a great option. So I think that this is a great move by the NCAA, and I think it really almost is player safety because we're so depleted, from a roster standpoint, that it takes away any of the, I don't have enough players to play. I mean, you guys all remember last year, Garrett Nussmeier could have played in this game last year. So this is a smart move. I think it's appropriate, and I think it really addresses some of the new things that are happening in college football, and it's been well received.
Yeah, just kind of along those lines, I mean, you mentioned how opportunistic this was going to be for a lot of the young guys on the roster who maybe haven't seen a lot of the reps this year. Just early impressions of some guys that are maybe standing out, that are maybe showing improvement that you were hoping to see, and just kind of what their roles could look like in this bowl game.
So we just finished, probably a 40-place scrimmage with a lot of the young guys, and it was a live scrimmage, tackle scrimmage. We got a lot of the guys, some work. It was good to see like Landon Ibieta back. He had been out most of the season, and we hadn't seen much of him, but he can catch the football. He's elusive, nice to see, Quincy Wiggins, where, he was kind of stalemated at that fourth game, and being able to get him out there and practice, quite a bit was really good. I'd say, LaTerrence Welch and I could probably give you a few more guys, but this is that time where you get a chance to see them, and then we'll watch the film today and probably see a few more guys that, Walker Howard obviously looked really good in the red zone today. So, look, I don't want this to be like, oh my God, Walker Howard, he's ready to be the starting quarterback. This is just observations of guys and answering your question that, it was nice to see them get out there today, and that's what you use some of these practices for.
You've talked a lot about focusing your recruiting on the state of Louisiana first, but what is your approach when it comes to national recruiting and, prioritizing those guys too?
Well, we're going to identify the best prospects, throughout the country, and you'll see that in this signing class. We'll have players from the Northeast, from the Midwest, from the West Coast, but our base will be Louisiana and the South. But I don't think you can, when you're LSU and you have a brand that is so recognizable throughout the entire country, you can't have blinders on either, where you go, oh, I'm just in Louisiana and I'm not going outside it. So our scope and vision is national, but it's not like we're pulling, 4 guys out of every state. We're going to have a heavy influence in the state of Louisiana like we should, but we're going to know where the best players are in the country as well. And you'll see on signing day, they're from the Midwest, they're from the Northeast, they're from Florida and Texas and California, and I think that's representative of saying, yeah, we're going to national recruit, but we're going to pull our base.
Is B.J. Ojulari going to be playing in the Citrus Bowl? I don't think he said if he would.
He is not going to be playing.
Then what do y'all do at edge rusher for this game, also with Desmond Little having entered the transfer portal?
Yeah, we think we've got some options there that I think will provide the kind of defensive pressure that we need. We like some of the guys we have that are practicing right now. We're going to put all 10 guys up on the line of scrimmage, blitz them all. Trade secrets.
Coach, Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
Is there an update on him? And I'm assuming.
Yeah, he looked really good today. He's been limited, but today was kind of his last test. We did one of the things we like to do is put the quarterback in direct snap. So he's pushing off and driving back. It's hard when you're in shotgun, you shuffle your feet and you throw and and that's how you can get him back quickly when you're in shotgun. But you put him in direct snap and he's got to drive and use his weight and transfer in a 7-step drop and then step up and move. You're ready. And today he went through that progression. I would say, today is Saturday, right? If we were playing tomorrow, he'd be ready to play.
I guess now that you're in it, you've been flying all over the country, high school recruiting, you've got guys entering the portal, recruiting guys in the portal, signing day coming up, practicing for a bowl. Is this what you expected? Is this something you think can stand long term, or is this kind of a lot going on right now? Just kind of curious your thoughts.
I love it. I mean, look, there's a lot to manage. I've got a great staff. I can't do it by myself, but I've got a great personnel staff. I've got a great recruiting staff, and it allows me to, stay at 35,000 feet in the sense that I can see the whole thing because I have such great support staff that are giving me the information necessary to make the decisions that need to be made, because decisions still have to be made relative to, are we going into the portal? What are we doing relative to, this recruiting or, roster and roster management and all of those things. So I love it. It's there's a lot of pieces to this, and it's moving quickly. But I embrace it, and I think it's because I've got a really good staff.
Yeah, Coach, how tricky is it preparing for a team with an interim head coach and a lot of opt-outs at their most important positions?
Well, we've watched their backup quarterback. He played 6 to 8 snaps against, I think it's Florida Atlantic, so we know who he is. And, they're playing LSU. They're going to play hard. They're going to play for 4 quarters. They're a Big Ten team. They've got scholarship players. So, we're not really that concerned about Purdue not showing up and playing, really well. I think what we're concerned is, what we do and how we do it. You don't tackle a lot during these bowl games. We have some guys that are not going to be playing. So I think our focus has really been much more on what we do and how we do it and our preparation, more so than, really concerning ourselves with what Purdue's situation is.
Coach, you got a roundabout number between your high school signees and transfer portal kids that might be your total when the dust settles on this haul for 23?
Yes. Do you want me to? No. You'd like a number? It's going to be in the mid to high 30s. So I think within a calendar year, we could be close to turning over 70 scholarships.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly here on Tigers Roar. The last question asked in that press conference that we showed you was from our man Mike Scarborough, asking about that number, what it was going to be the total. You heard Coach in his own words say it's going to be in the high 30s, and that's not going to be the case every year moving forward. He projects somewhere around 2025. But this time period right now, Bud, man, with they expanding the 25 number to NCAA, it enormously helps LSU rebuild this program in a hurry.
This was a perfect rule that the NCAA instituted for this year because, look, JP, we don't have to go through the numbers. 74 or 75. They had about 10 with injuries. Now you've got, 11 or 12 in the transfer portal. I don't count those 3 guys, Anton Sampa and Philip Webb and Jordan Tolles. They were before the season. But LSU, once again, is running on empty with some lower numbers. So now it is time to load up. They know why we spell GO, G-E-A-U-X. They know where Bro Bridge is and New Iberia and all of that. And if you listen to Coach Kelly on that press conference, they want to nationally recruit, but spend a lot of time and money in keeping the great players of Louisiana here. And if you don't get them the first time, you can get them the second time, and that's what they're expecting with Jalen Lee, a guy that was committed to LSU. LSU kind of said, look, we don't have room. He went to Florida. He's a big body. Aaron Anderson, a guy that was hurt and really didn't have a chance to show what he could do at Alabama. And, of course, as we know, it's going to be a haul, and we're going to kind of go through the names that we expect to see when we come back from the break. But I will just say this, JP. We were talking about this earlier in the week. Where do you think LSU is going to be preseason AP poll for next year if they beat Purdue? Now, look, if they don't beat Purdue, that is going to leave a stench and a stink that you don't want to drive around Baton Rouge if they lose this game to Purdue, especially as on demand as they're going to be. But let's say they beat Purdue and they go 10-4 for the season, first year. All the things they accomplished, got to the SEC championship game, beat Alabama, all of that. What are you looking at as a preseason ranking?
I would say a safe estimate would be top 15.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, 15, 13.
Yeah.
LSU, look, we've seen them ranked way too high when people on the inside kind of knew that that was an overshot. They've been ranked way too low and kind of had to fight their way up the ladder. And I'd much prefer the latter scenario of being, rated in that middle area and then kind of work your way into the top. But man, I'm not going to say this is a make or break recruiting class because I think Coach Brian Kelly has a great staff. But Coach Brian Kelly has a lot of different whirlwinds happening right now between the portal, the signing day, the Citrus Bowl, not to mention just getting through his first year in the SEC and all those attaboys that come at you for that, getting to the SEC title game. You always say it's not about the failures, it's about how much success you can handle. And it's going to be an important signing class. They got to get some guys to rebuild that defensive secondary again. And really, like I told you and Mike, the play of the freshmen this year was incredible, extraordinary. It's not going to happen every year for you. We have 4 or 5 freshmen, true freshmen, that come and contribute the way that these freshmen did. It's just not going to happen. So you got to kind of build on the pieces that are in place and keep this ball moving. But we're going to take a quick break here on Tigers Roar. Last break of the evening. We'll come back and talk to you about some verbal commitments. Budman's got the list. You don't want to miss it. You are watching Tigers Roar.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Seagan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49 just south of Opelousas.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar, the last segment of this episode. If you missed anything in this episode, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All the shows are archived there for your viewing pleasure. You can fast forward, rewind, catch right to the spot you want to see, and play it out. YouTube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. As we tape here on Tuesday, December 20th, tomorrow is National Signing Day, the 21st of December. The Bud Man, Buddy Songy, here with me as always on Tigers. We're going to run through some verbal commitments for this 23 class.
Yeah, by the way, before we do that, just got the verification. We lost one of our listeners. His name was Bobby Jr., Richard A. Bear. Unfortunately, cancer taken him, and so we want to extend our wishes out to his wife and his family. You know, it's always tough losing people this time of year. So for those of you out there watching, we know it's a tough time, the holidays, losing people. So Bobby Jr., may you rest in peace, and was a great Tiger fan. Speaking of Tigers, let's get into some of these names, and right out of the gate, Lance Hurd, a big offensive lineman, Will Campbell's best friend, same school. I'm telling you, He could come in and play right tackle, move Emory Jones to right guard. He's that good. 6'6", 310. Did you see him catching the touchdown?
I was
in the
going to
high
ask
school
you.
game? How cool was that?
He looked way bigger than everyone else on the field for that, too. And Lance Hurd is a monster.
Yeah, he's got great potential. Javian Toviano, if you want to know what the kind of player that Brian Kelly is trying to entice, I don't know if you saw his commitment and how well-spoken he was, but he speaks way better than any of us in the media. Unbelievable first-class guy, big-time corner, can play in the slot, can play on special teams, can play safety. Toviano, a big-timer. Hurd and Toviano, 5 stars. Also, Deshaun Womack. Now, you know you're losing B.J. Ojolari and Ali Gay. And bottom line, this kid's from Baltimore, Maryland, a 5-star from the edge. You know, you see it in high school, you see it in college, you see it with the Saints. Got to have edge rushers to pressure the quarterback. Got to have corners to play man-to-man. Deshaun Womack is going to be a great one. Did you see Catholic High play this year?
I did.
Shelton Sampson.
Pretty good.
I think the sky is the limit, and he's going to get better. But, man, that kind of size, that kind of speed, that kind of wingspan, you just can't teach that. Yeah. Another great one from Catholic High. Trey Hawley, a guy who is I call just everybody that kind of looks like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a poor man's Clyde Helaire. Right. But Trey Hawley from Farmerville, Louisiana, has got some juke and juju. He puts his foot in the ground, he's going to make you miss. 5'7", 5'8", 185. The next great running back, or one of them. Now, Jalen Brown is a wide receiver they beat Miami for. And this is a guy that I'm watching to see if he flips. Once Aaron Anderson announced that he was coming to back home to LSU, right, Brown took a lot of his LSU stuff off social media. Does it mean anything? We don't know. But Jalen Brown, if he comes, and if they keep Kyle Parker, the underrated kid from Texas, we talked about it, we looked at it, 11 wide receivers, and all of them could play.
Good.
That's why Jack Bech went to TCU.
Right, yeah. I mean, and Rick, congratulations to Jack Bech on really landing on his feet. I mean, TCU, one of the top programs year in and out. He's going to have an opportunity to play and contribute. Happy for Jack Bech. Wish him the best.
Caleb Jackson, the big running back from Liberty. That's the old Lehigh, a local kid. He's a 4-star, and you can't have enough running backs. How many times on this show did we talk about it? I watched all those games on Saturday, and look, God bless Josh Williams and what he brings to the table, because that's nothing but pure class.
And while we're talking about Josh Williams, congratulations. Walked across the stage this past weekend. Him and Cameron Wire really made me feel old. I remember doing Cam Wire's games at East Essential when he was playing basketball as a junior. Now he walks across as a college graduate. So shout out to those 2 young men. Great job.
Well, I was just going to say that but LSU doesn't have a difference maker. We thought it was John Emery who was a 5-star. Josh Williams was their best running back.
Yep.
And, of course, Noah Cain, you want to have a little more speed, and we know that Armani Goodwin's hurt. So another big running back, 6 foot and 210 range. Mac Markway. Boy, if you're a tight end, you got to look at LSU or Georgia. And Mac Markway is a really big tight end from St. Louis, Missouri, a 4-star. Ricky Collins. Did you see Ricky Collins with Woodlawn this year?
I actually saw him not that long ago. We were actually practicing for the Red Stick Bowl out at LSU last week, Tuesday. He came out and was throwing the ball around. His head coach, Marcus Randall, was the coach for the Eagles for the Red Stick Bowl, which will be airing on Pelican Broadcasting all month. Check it out every Saturday and Sunday at 9 o'clock and every Monday and Wednesday Saturday and Sunday, it's at noon. Monday and Wednesday, it's at 9 o'clock. This week, all until the first week in January, so January 7th, you can catch the Red Stick Bowl, Baton Rouge area premier all-star game. I was on the call with Sean Nelson. It was a great opportunity. I certainly appreciate it. So go check it out, the Red Stick Bowl. You can find it on our YouTube page, too.
Dennis Lorio and Barrett Murphy. Of course, Barrett coached me many, many years ago at Catholic High. Kudos to that great game, and kudos to you on the job you did. I'll go through the...
Answer your question, Ricky Collins is a talented young man.
But he probably is going to redshirt, especially as crowded as quarterback room is. But he has the potential. Jackson Howard is a DN tight end from Minneapolis, a 4-star. DJ Chester, a big, ugly. Once again, you got to have a ton of depth on the offensive line. He's a kid from Georgia. Colin Jackson, you probably saw him from Zachary, a snot knocker. And now that you're starting, how many times did we say over the year, LSU's got to recruit more size, more speed, but more physicality. I think you're going to love the fact that they've got some snot knockers. Colin Jackson from Zachary, really good player. Kai Preen had to get eligible, but man, this is a guy nobody's talking about. I'm sure you've seen him before. Another great receiver from the state of Louisiana.
Certainly talented receiver from the state of Louisiana. Look, that room, but man, not short on talent. I mean, gee, you talk about Kayshawn Boutte deciding to come back. That room is overflowing with talent.
Michael Daughtery, a safety from Georgia, and that is a feeder school, Logansville, Georgia. They call him the King. Kyle Parker, who is now a 4-star, was a 3-star, very underrated. They like him a lot. Ryan Yates, a safety from Denton, Texas. Kristen Brathwaite, a linebacker from Cypress, Texas. Tyree Adams, did you see him, the kid from New Orleans? Big O-lineman.
They call him Ty Jesus or something like that. He's a mountain of a kid,
Mountain of a kid. Jackson McGowan, they just brought him in a couple weeks ago, a tight end, was committed to Cincinnati. Paul Mubinga, who is a guy they beat Michigan for from Buford, Jordan, is going to be a center. Jeremiah Hughes, a cornerback from Las Vegas. Whit Weeks, of course, his brother Wes Weeks played this year, coming in here. Dylan Carpenter, a guy from Santa Maria, an edge guy and a rusher. And Ashton Stamps, another safety from New Orleans. Now you throw in Desmond Ricks and a couple of other guys. Smith, the safety from the state of Mississippi. And then some of these transfer portals. We're probably looking at anywhere from 27 to 30 when the smoke clears tomorrow.
Yeah, and Coach Brian Kelly said that this program is going to be built on the play of freshmen. He certainly showed that this past season with all the true freshmen that came in and immediately contributed. But this is a big recruiting class for Coach Brian Kelly. There was a lot of questions about the special teams coordinator for LSU this year and why they were so bad and why haven't they made a change. But Brian Polian, we knew from the jump, was going to be Coach Brian Kelly's right-hand man when it came to recruiting. I know he's done a great job for Coach Brian Kelly. He gave him accolades in a press conference. It helps for Coach Brian Kelly to kind of oversee when he trusts all his staff. And I know Brian Polian's been doing a good job on this recruiting trail for a few weeks now, solid.
Got great recruiters. Of course, LSU highly invested in the NIL, which is so important. And look, for year one, when you talk about the grand scheme of things, what happened to beat Alabama, have that kind of atmosphere. Can you imagine when you put the tape in and seeing the team right there with all the fans rushing the field, not once but twice?
I know.
It's a good time to be a Tiger fan, folks.
That's right. And we certainly appreciate you tuning into this episode of Tigers Roar. This will be the last episode before Christmas, so please, from everyone here at Pelican Broadcasting, please extend our deepest wishes of a happy and safe holiday. Merry Christmas, and please have a Happy New Year. We'll come back, obviously, the day after the game. We'll be here January 3rd to bring you highlights and all the inside scoop from this LSU Citrus Bowl against the Purdue Boilermakers. Of course, we know Drew Brees will be an interim head coach. We'll see if that has any impact on the game. Purdue's missing a lot of guys. They've had some opt-outs. They have a new head coach. He won't be there for the bowl game. It's kind of like LSU last year. They got an interim coach, so we'll see what happens. LSU versus Purdue, January 2nd, 12 o'clock on ABC. We'll have the highlights for you here on Tigers Roar.
Merry Christmas, everybody.